Hey Code Blue family, Kaija here. So excited for another episode with you guys today. So today we're going to talk about licensing and like just different permits that you may need, right? So when starting a business, we want to make sure that we're doing it the legal way. I understand that some of you may look at your business like a side hustle, and you're looking to more so legitimate your business, or you may have no idea what you want to do, but you're starting that process to whereas, you're kind of figuring that out. But within doing so, just understand that licensing is extremely important. And I know that the legal side can seem overwhelming, but we're going to get into that today to talk a little bit about that, okay? Because it is important. I don't want you guys to have issues in your business down the line. So those sort of licenses that you may need are going to be crucial. I would highly recommend, of course, seeking legal counsel regarding any sort of regulations regarding licensing for your state to kind of help you regarding that to make sure you are in compliance. So let's get into it today. And be sure to stick around until the end of this video so that you have a clear roadmap to help you as far as getting jump started on your process to get your legal ducks in a row. First, let's talk about why licenses and permits are important. Licensing and permits are not just to protect your business, but to make sure that the public stays safe, and that there's regulations around rules and laws when it comes to certain industries, right? So for example, you guys know I'm gonna of course give you a real estate example. So in real estate, you cannot just practice real estate as far as like buying and selling homes to individuals without having a license. I know that some people maybe in the comments may differ when it comes to wholesaling. However, when it comes down to wholesaling, there is a very blurred line, a very thin blurred line between breaking the law when it comes to wholesaling versus actually, where you need an actual agent versus someone representing, a seller in a situation. You legally in the state of Georgia, and again, every state may be different, but in the state of Georgia, you legally cannot represent anyone unless you are a licensed real estate agent. Like I said, there are so many fine lines when it comes to wholesaling, and some people, step over that line. Some know, like willingly are aware, and then some are unaware. This is why it's important for you to actually know what the licensing and permit processes are for your specific industry, because you do not want to get sued and you do not want any sort of issues from like your state government associations or commissions, okay? Let's use even a food truck, for example. They have to have certain health regulations when it comes to permitting for food trucks, right? You don't want to, I hope you're not eating from a food truck that doesn't have permits and the Department of Health has not gotten a chance to evaluate, because that can make you extremely sick. So you want to make sure that you have all of those ducks in the row. And I know you may be thinking like, what does that look like? So let's talk about, for example, just at the foundational level, business license, right? So when it comes down to a business license, almost every industry needs a business license to function and operate, right? And what I mean by that is, and again, you're going to want to check with like legal advisor and also with your state, call, ask questions. That's what they're there to do as far as providing you with assistance. But I'm just going to give you an option. So here in the state of Georgia, there's a county called Cobb County. This was a story that I saw a few years ago. There was a young boy, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say he was under 18. So yes, young. And I want to say he was a gamer, and it was like a news article or a news video that I saw a clip online. And ultimately he was gaming online, made a lot of money. And what ended up happening is someone went to the county and stated, hey, he's operating a business outside of his home. And I want to say they went back and gave him a fine for online gaming out of his home, being that like that was his home office, so to speak, quote unquote. And he did all of his gaming from his personal address, and it became a challenge, right? So if you know that you are in a specific industry in your state and an actual business license is required, I would go ahead, figure out what steps you need to take, and complete whatever applications that you need to do in order to make sure that you have, a business license. Because oftentimes, depending on what state you live in, and sometimes even the county, other people will tell you, oh, you don't need a business license. You don't need a business license. Trust me, there is a way where some counties will literally say, okay, well, you're operating a business out of your home, or you do gaming and your online gaming business is operating out of an address, a residential address in our county. So now we want you to pay taxes on it. So and trust me, even though it seems so like petty and small, it's a big deal. There are people out there who will call the county, who will call the state and take time out of their day and actually, make time to be able to report people. People do that, unfortunately, but it does happen. So you want to make sure you're in compliance when it comes down to that. Also, there may be specific industries where, let's say for your state, it may not be a requirement. I know that some states, depending upon what area or profession you want to go into, they don't necessarily require a license. But I would say that, just having training in an area, it shows that you actually care about your craft and that you actually want to improve your skill set when you take it an extra step to take extra classes or to take extra certifications to be able to become licensed and get different permits. Even if it's not a requirement, it helps you stand out amongst your competition. I know, for example, in the state of Ohio, it wasn't until about July of 2021, just from some of the research that I conducted, that home inspectors were not required to have a license. I know that is absolutely insane, but the reason I even began to kind of just like research that was due to the fact that a few years ago, my mom never really had to use her homeowner's insurance. However, there was an incident, and you're like, hey, well, she has homeowner's insurance. We'll call them. They'll send someone out. They sent someone out. There were some discrepancies with what was wrong with my mom's roof and the home insurance company paying for it. And then my brother and I later found out that they're not even licensed. So then I'm sitting there thinking like, well, we don't want you to send out someone that's not licensed and doesn't know the profession well. We want you to send someone out that's licensed. And so back then, they just had to do like apprenticeship. They just had to kind of like observe and do so many hours. They weren't actually like held to a specific standard as far as like, these are the rules. These are the laws that you have to abide by. You have to hold a license with us. You have to have, these many hours with us. That didn't all come until about July of 2021, which is super shocking because you would think that within an industry such as real estate, there's so many avenues. But if you are talking about the avenue of home inspection, I would definitely want someone that's licensed if I was, pursuing any sort of service from like a home inspector. So just keep that in mind. Just because it's not a requirement, it may not be mandatory, I would still go ahead and get that certification. It may cost money. Just be sure to save up, whether it's a little bit over time so that you can contribute towards getting that extra certification. And it also provides trust with your clients to know that you've taken extra steps, that you have all, extra certifications. It provides trust and also creates a great referral because when they talk about you to their friends and family and loved ones, hey, so-and-so she's licensed. A lot of these home inspectors or whatever industry you're in, they're not licensed, but she took the extra step to do that. And I really think that that matters. That shows that she cares and that she knows what she's doing. Now we talked about, of course, like narrowing down, like how do you find out this information? We talked about going to your state. One of the first websites that I definitely would recommend as far as like learning, what licensing or permits you may need is definitely SBA.gov. It will help you as far as like giving you a starting foundation for learning exactly what requirements are needed for like maybe licensing or permits for your specific industry. Now, keep in mind, you don't want to go to this step until you've already selected what industry you want to work in. within your business. You've already niched down for whatever specific industry. So you know, like, okay, this is what I want to offer in this specific industry. Are there any licensing? Are there any certifications? Are there any classes where I may get any sort of permits to like advance my skill set and master my niche, right? So before, you should have all of those steps completed before you even go into licensing, because there's no reason for you to be researching licensing and permitting regarding a specific industry if you haven't already figured out what your specific niche within that industry is going to be. It kind of defeats the purpose because, for example, certain industries may not necessarily have like a certification, depending upon what that may be. However, there may be requirements at the federal and state level for permitting, whether it be like a business license. So you just want to make sure, like I always like to say, you're getting on the right highway. We don't want to have you, getting on the wrong highway and you end up having to get off and kind of detour and waste your time when going into different things. So we want to make sure that like you're organized while going through this process. Keep in mind, one of the more expedited processes with doing this is hiring an attorney. I would suggest utilizing different platforms like Legal Shield. Legal Shield, you can pay like a small subscription fee where you'll get discounted legal services to kind of help you. So if you're like, hey, I'm not good with surfing, online and researching, go ahead and hire, an attorney, some sort of legal advisor, a CPA to kind of help you to see exactly what specific licenses, permits you may need once you figure out exactly what niche you want to go into. That'll kind of expedite the entire process and make it as smooth as possible for you. Now, if you're completing this application on your own, again, I'm just giving you more so like of a brief rundown because it may be a different process depending upon each state. However, you're going to want to make sure you have all of the things that we talked about in order. If you haven't gotten a chance to see my business credit video where I gave you like the rundown on business credit and how I got to an 85 score for my business credit, you can go and watch that. I'll be sure to link it down below and you can get a chance to actually see all of the different necessary steps that you would need to take to become a legal business. And what I mean by that is you're going to want to have your articles of organization where you register with the state. You're also going to want to have your business email, your business phone number, your business address, as well as your EIN number. Okay. And again, if you're looking to figure out what those are, you can actually go back and I kind of did a brief video talking about the different things that you'll need for establishing your business, right? In addition to that, also, once you have all of those documents gathered, right, because they're gonna more than likely ask you that when completing the application for your state. That's general information that they ask on business license applications. You're then going to complete that application, complete it in its entirety. Do not skip different parts of it. If you don't know the answer, pick up the phone, ask. Reach out to a department. Hey, I'm on section 5. I don't know what this means, or I don't know if I should fill out this specific part in the application. You don't want to have your application delayed or any issues with submitting your application within a timely fashion. So ask questions early. Don't just guess or skip over it because you may not know the answer and you're like, okay, I don't want to do this. I want to hurry up and submit it. No, make sure you call, ask questions, ask them what are the different ways that you can turn it in. I know when I send off any legal documents, I like to send it certified mail so that I know that someone signed for it and they actually got it. That's really important for me. So I love sending stuff certified mail so I know that they received it. And sometimes certified mail, it could be a few extra bucks, but it lets me know they actually got it. You're also going to want to pay any fees that's necessary. So you're going to want to make sure you pay any fees and you pay attention to the way that they accept their payments, form of payment when submitting the application. I know that some only accept cashier checks or whatever their form of payment may be. Be sure to stick to that and don't try to send any other form within via mail. And at that point, you're generally, depending on your state, you're going to wait for your approval when it comes down to your business license. They'll then tell you anything else that they may need from you, any other documentation during that process. But again, if you've submitted everything that your state is asking for in the beginning, you shouldn't have any delays with your application. If for some reason you may have forgotten something or there may have been a mistake, the state will typically let you know when you happen to call and it's been a while and you may have not heard back. It could be due to delays and the whatever our department within your state is processing so many applications at once, or it could be, hey, your application is still processing because we're missing XYZ. So that's why it's important to have everything that they need in the beginning. So when it comes to business licenses in your state, make sure that you're staying in compliance. So once you get your business license, there may be certain requirements. I know for myself as a realtor, once I became licensed in the state of Georgia, there's certain continuing education classes, CE classes that I have to take. When it comes time for renewal, there'll be certain fees that I need to take. Make sure that you pay attention to those renewal dates. When it comes down to like not doing continued education or not paying renewal fees, those things can be costly because oftentimes they'll kind of tack on some additional like late fees, as well as like the processing time, and you may need to operate within your business and continue to flow and service clients, and you don't want to have any issues. So make sure you write it down. If you have a calendar, you put it in your calendar, or you use your phone, whichever way you use to track your dates, so that you have some sort of reminder that, hey, come January 1, I have to renew my business license and I have to pay this amount, that you're already aware of it. You already have money set aside, allocated for that, so that you're able to continue to stay within good standing within whether it's federal or state laws. Hope this information was super helpful to you guys. I know sometimes it can be very confusing when it comes to business licensing. And so again, like, I'm so happy that I was able to kind of just drop some gems, some little cliff notes to help you out on your journey. If this video was an inspiration to you, please be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell to let me know. Also, drop down below, like, if you happen to learn, tell me what state you're in, and also tell me what the regulations are like surrounding your industry that you're researching and that you've niched down to. I would love to know more, because I know a lot of states have so many different rules when it comes down to so many wide varieties of industries. So I want to know more. Again, I hope you guys are having an amazing day and an awesome week, Kode Blue family. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.